Welcome and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be this kind of a lazy video, kind of not. I saw a bunch of new players and I saw in the inspirations tab on YouTube people have been searching for the best beginner builds. So this is going to be, in my personal opinion, the three basic beginner builds, or 1 damage, 1 tank and 1 skill. Just something that can get pretty much everywhere. Before we get into it, please be sure to hit like, subscribe. We are on our way to monetization. We're on our way to the 1,000 subscriber mark. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, tiny disclaimer before we begin. Build number 1, this is what we're going to be looking at now, is probably the only build that I would say...
Hostile broadcast detected.
Is probably the only build that I would say is okay for raids. It isn't a raid specific build. It's also not something that is preferred for raids. Usually raids are preferred for a full yellow build. If you're going to do a raid, be sure to go and at least look up what raid builds people recommend. I haven't done a lot of raids. I kind of hopped into the game a lot later, so getting raids is a bit difficult. But this build, I've run through raids. People find it acceptable, if not preferred. It is at least acceptable. So let's get into it. This is my personal end-all be-all build for Division. Pretty much any content. If you're running Incursion, this works. Summit, it works. You can run anything with this. I run it quite a bit squishy. Some people prefer rolling 3 blue cores, dropping a bit of damage. It's acceptable. You can do that. The reason I'm saying this build is perfect for beginners is because there is no real requirement for this. I am running the St. Elmo's engine. You do not need to. If you want to run this build but you don't have it, running any weapon with the killer talent is a perfectly good and valid way of running it. Black Market AKM is the highest damage or highest damaging weapon, I believe, in the AR, in the normal yellow AR sets. Although with that being said, I am saying that before the new event, or not the new event AR was added, the what you call it, I don't think I have it on this character. I have it on the, oh no, this, here it is. Saying that before I did those numbers before the Lexington was added. Although I don't really like the way it plays, but that's neither here nor there. This is probably, the killer talent is amazing if you do not have the St. Elmo's engine. Other than that, just run 4-piece striker and pretty much any backpack and chest piece you have early game. If you can get a 4-piece striker together, just those 4 pieces will carry you pretty much through the entire story and very early late game, or at least farming build. So this is what I would recommend for beginners to put together. And then once you get to endgame, a Fenris chest piece with obliterate on it and a backpack with vigilance. It's going to depend on how you want to run. I'm getting 8% crit chance from this backpack. You could run Seska for the extra crit damage. Another thing that I do personally is I usually run 50% crit chance. I don't always go up to 60, so you could realistically drop the backpack for that as well. Gunner specialization, because Gunner gives you a bit of ammo regen every now and then, and it does give you a fire rate increase whenever you kill something, as well as a tiny bit of armor on kill, although I would not rely on that armor on kill for much. Secondary and primary really doesn't matter. Generally it's good saying to have a rifle instead of a assault rifle and another assault rifle, so either having a shotgun or a rifle here for ammo purposes is better. But generally speaking, I don't really run out of ammo a lot, and the few times I do, ammo drops are not far away and ammo chests are also not far away. So that's pretty much all there is to this build. Not going through it specifically because we're just looking at the pieces. Now rolls, you're going to get to a point where you'll get max rolls or recalibrating into it. 60% crit chance and roll the rest into crit damage. If you can get a optimal weapon with health damage and damage targets out of cover, or even better, if you can get a rifle that is damage to armor and damage to targets out of cover, that's better. But I'm pretty sure assault rifles are just health damage all around. But yeah, that's the damage build. Let's hop over to my tank build, and then I will show you that. Okay, and tank build. So for tank build, Foundry Bulwark, in my personal opinion, max roll to headshot damage with an AR is probably the best. However, what you could do with this build as well, if you really wanted to, is just remove the half shield and throw on a full shield with a pistol. However, for that to properly work, I do recommend Liberty or Regulus, and in both of these cases, Regulus is raid exclusive to build it, and Liberty is also, it's not raid exclusive, but it's quite a pain to get. It is one of the only craftable exotics, however, one of the three craftable exotics. You have the holster, you have the sniper rifle, and then you have the Liberty. But it is craftable, so it's not an RNG drop, so you could work towards it. If you don't have it, however, no real reason not to run this configuration. I prefer this configuration. It's just 4 pieces bulwark with headshot damage rolled. The Picario holster is a late game item, or not late game item. If you get one early game, you can use it, but in terms of what I mean late game is you can pretty much slot anything in here. Bellstone Armory is nice for a bit of armor regen, although not necessary. And then Gilligard would be very nice because it gives you 5% max armor, which max armor is more useful because, like I said, these three, this Foundry Bulwarks, it just pretty much makes you immortal. Rifle, if you want to run this in a crit configuration, getting the Chameleon would be great because you do get 25% crit hit chance, if I remember correctly. Other than that, any weapon with spotter, is it spotter? No, flatline. Flatline gives you a flat 15% damage to pulse enemies, and because we are running the technician skill tree, we actually have the pulse laser. So you have the laser. That's not the laser. The laser is at the bottom, but it's there, but it's not. Link laser pointer is just pretty simple. Whenever you aim at something, it pulses it, so you get a nice amount of pulse there. Other than that, nothing really else to say about this. Memento bag is, once again, if you don't have it, filling it in with something else, pretty much anything else. The upside between the first build, the striker build that I showed, and this build, they revolve around these 4 pieces. So it revolves around striker and revolves around Foundry. Anything else is just extra that you can add on to make it even better, but it gets into late game territory. This is nice for early game because it's a decent amount of damage, giving you insane survivability, and you can still, if you're barrel stuffing yellow enemies on heroic, you can still one clip them in the summit, or I still one clip them in the summit. Now this is a mag of 45. It's a bit iffy. Like, I wouldn't recommend less ammo, but you could get rifles with higher damage. This is just, I love the Lexington personally. It's just a great weapon all around. Stability and everything is wonderful with that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. If you want to get to this point late game, Memento and Picario's, I love the way it runs there. Technician, we also have the Artificer Hive, and we have the Crusader Shield. That one's pretty much all. I don't think there's anything else to say there. Okay, and finally we have our skill build. Now, skill builds, to be completely frank, and this sad fact of the matter with them is they're not really that good if you're running open world or even if you're running Dark Zone control points specifically, not PvP, just running control points, they work very nicely. They're kind of just a chill build to run. But overall, if you run into Summit, it's also okay to run. However, there are going to be floors where you just don't do anything, and especially the final floor 100 on Summit. Without any spoilers, but skill builds are completely useless on floor 100. So they're kind of in a hard place where I love running skill builds, but they don't really have a place. Any tank build or any damage build is just going to be doing better, I guess. Legendary, they're kind of fun to run. There are some points in certain legendaries, but you learn those points where you need to where you need to focus an EMP. I don't know what you call them, the little EMP things that stand up. If you play through the story, one of the missions you need to destroy 3 of them. But there are some points in legendary missions where you need to focus on them before you can throw them down. But outside of maybe running legendary, I don't see a good point in running this. But open world, great for beginners. If you don't have the capacitor, guaranteed drop in the summit if you want it. So just run through summit. You just do the summit missions for the capacitor if memory serves correctly. Focus on summit missions, and you'll get the capacitor. If you don't have it, however, any weapon with in sync would be great. Do I have one with I have a few. So test subject has perfect in sync, but any weapon with in sync works. You just need to find it, extract it, and then you can throw it on literally any AR. As you can see, I have a few rifles and stuff with InSync as well. InSync is probably the best in slot talent for a skill builds. It gives you 15% extra skill damage and weapon damage. If both of those buffs are active at the same time, it gives you 30% for both. It just doubles the effect. For holster in place of the waveform, honestly, running another Hana U is actually not that bad idea. 15% weapon damage is great. If you don't have Hana U, however, what is its name? I see the thing in my, I see the gear set in my mind. I just don't remember what it's called now. Do I have something just per chance? Walker Harris. I think it's Wyvern. I speak under correction, but I believe it's Wyvern.
Priority objective available.
Yeah, hush. I believe it's Wyvern gives you skill damage as well. However, like I said, running a third Hana U is a perfectly good way of running this. Extra weapon damage is always welcome. I'm using the Oxidizer Chem Launcher. Drone is also very well worth it. Oxidizer's weird in terms of it works very nicely, but it's stationary, so you shoot a cloud and it's stationary. Drone actually goes and seeks people out, but the drone has a lot lower damage. I'm torn at any point using a drone or a chem launcher. I love both of them, but neither of them feels like they fit very well, and Seeker Mines just, I don't know, the cooldowns just don't do it for me. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is pretty much honestly, this is pretty much the best skill build you get. Waveform, capacitor, and then just 2-piece Hana U and 3-piece Empress International. This is the way I run it. It works perfectly well. Does legendaries, does anything, again, outside of raids. And I also wouldn't recommend this for incursion. There are people that have done incursion with skill builds though, so it's possible, but it's a giant DPS check at the end of the day. So just running the striker build that I showed you at build number 1 is the best in slot. But yeah, just run skill haste, skill damage everywhere, and yeah, that's pretty much the end all be all to skill builds. They're not really, there's nothing really extremely complicated about them. If you're still very new, all of these builds are just mainly templates. These are the best you don't need to run a Hana U chest and a Hana U backpack. You could run Empress International there and run the gloves and stuff. It's all what you pick up first. Overall, the other thing that I wanted to mention is in the beginning of the game, if you are very early game, either still busy with the story or you've reached level 40 and you're just looking for a build to start out, any of these three builds are great. Run Summit for a bit, trying to get one of these builds together. Once you've gotten one of these builds together and you want to start farming, go to Countdown. It is just plainly better for drops. But any build that I show you here, a lot of people forget, or well, a lot of YouTubers forget. This is a thing, and a lot of new players don't know. Once you reach level 1000, this will be maxed out. Before level 1000, you will not have all of these. Now, these are just passive buffs that we have at all times because we reached level 1000, and they do actually mean a lot. This gives an additional 10% weapon damage. This gives 20% extra headshot damage, which is great for one-shot builds. This gets crit hit damage, and this actually gives crit hit chance. So a lot of the times, if you're looking at a crit hit chance build, that's also another reason why I recommend 50% crit hit chance, because reaching 50% crit hit chance is very doable, even without this. And then defensive bonuses, you can click through these on your own place, but note that all of these is a thing, and do put in your points, because especially when you're going through the game the first time. I know no one told me really about this, and I don't remember if there was a tutorial at that point, or maybe I just glossed over it, but I watched a video and someone mentioned this. I was like, wait, let's go check that. And I had 100 points in each of these that I just wasn't using. So do take note of this. This maxes out at level 2000, then you have extra 60,000% health, but each of these blocks max out at level 1000. So if you have 1000, you should have all of these maxed out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a very quick video, not really build guides. There's no real guiding to do here. It's just for striker, get 4-piece striker. For bulwark, get 4-piece bulwark. This one's a bit more technical to put together, but also not really that difficult. All of these are very easily farmable, as well as bulwark and striker. Honestly, if you've reached level 40, opening a map, going up to this upper corner and just going to Summit, go in there. If you want to Summit, run Summit, and you want to get some higher level gear pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and speak for the community. I don't know if this is right or wrong. I don't really care. I don't personally mind. If you want to go to the Summit, you hold H and you select your targeted loot. You select what you want, so you can select Foundry, you can select Striker, and then matchmake. Matchmake Summit, matchmake on Heroic. Legendary takes a bit longer and it does require a bit more teamwork, but matchmake for Heroic. If you join a team, my team personally, I always run Heroic. It's very easy. I can drag anyone through there, and most other people can as well. Just run Heroic. Doesn't matter if you have a build for it or not. Just hide around a corner, wait for them to clear the room, and yeah, sure, you might get kicked from 1 or 2 groups. It doesn't matter. Just try again, and chances are 9 out of 10 times people have no problem helping you out. Say in chat if you're looking for a specific exotic, and most people also just drop that exotic for you if they find it, unless they're also looking for it. But that's pretty much it that I have for you today. I do thank you for watching. I do appreciate all the support for the channel, and yeah, see you guys next time.